All right, get ready for this deep dive because we're going somewhere pretty disturbing today.
Yeah, this one really stays with you.
We're talking about Canada's Highway of Tears.
Decades of disappearances, this really isolated and eerie setting, and just so many unanswered questions. It's a lot.
And we're digging into a podcast episode called Vanished on the Highway of Tears, Canada's Unsolved Mystery. We're talking over 50 years. People, mostly young Indigenous women, have gone missing or have been found murdered along this really remote stretch of Highway 16 in British Columbia.
It's a case that's fascinated and horrified people for years, and for good reason. It's a really sprawling case with a ton of twists and turns.
Yeah, and it seems like to even begin to understand it, you need to understand the setting. Like, the geography of Highway 16 seems like it's a pretty big part of the story. So, what's it like out there? Paint me a picture.
Okay, so picture this. 725 kilometers of highway.
Whoa, hold on. 725 kilometers. How long is that?
It's like driving from Chicago to Atlanta and back.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, keep going.
Okay, so yeah, 725 kilometers, cutting through these really dense forests. You've got mountains in the distance. Like, you might drive through a small town every now and then, but mostly it's just you and this never-ending road.
I can only imagine the isolation, like that feeling of being totally vulnerable and being so far away from help if something were to happen.
Exactly, and you know that thought creeps into your mind. And this isn't just any highway either. You're also driving through the traditional territories of a lot of different First Nations communities, and that adds a whole other layer to everything.
So it's not just a remote location, it's a really significant one too, historically and culturally. So I'm guessing that feeds into the bigger picture.
Absolutely, and these communities have faced and continue to face these systemic challenges that sadly make their people even more vulnerable.
It's easy to get lost in the mystery of it all, you know,
right?
Trying to figure out the puzzle and everything. But it's important to remember the families, the people left behind, dealing with this awful not knowing.
It's devastating. These are real people, daughters, mothers, sisters, friends. They're gone. And it leaves this hole in their communities.
Yeah, the podcast talked about this woman, Ramona Wilson. She was only 16 when she disappeared.
So young.
And she was hitchhiking, which they said wasn't that uncommon out there.
And that really says something, doesn't it?
Yeah.
People having to rely on hitchhiking just to get around. Not having other options like reliable transportation. It's a huge factor.
It's awful. Like, these women were let down in so many ways.
It is. It's this terrible mix of things, you know? The fact that it's so isolated out there, the lack of opportunities, and then the historical and current challenges that Indigenous communities face.
Yeah.
It all adds up.
It's like all these things creating this perfect storm. And on top of that, there's the fact that there could be multiple people who have done this.
It just makes it more complicated, yeah. It's not like there's one person, one way of doing things that they're looking for. It might be a bunch of separate things happening over years and years.
That's going to weigh on the people who live around there, right? Knowing that there could be multiple people doing these things along this same road for years.
Totally. And the podcast, they talked about how that uncertainty, knowing that someone knows something, how that's led to a lot of fear. A lack of trust.
And probably makes people less likely to come forward if they know something, which makes everything worse. It's like a vicious circle. Did they change how they were investigating once they thought there were multiple people involved?
Oh, it made things a lot more complicated. Think about it. Instead of looking for one person, now they're trying to consider that there might be several, each with their own reasons and ways of doing things.
Wow, that's a lot.
Like trying to put together multiple puzzles at the same time, but you don't have all the pieces for any of them.
I can't even imagine. And speaking of missing pieces, we should talk about how these cases were dealt with, especially early on. That seems like a huge part of this whole thing, too. How things were handled or really not handled.
It's important, yeah. And it shows how the system itself made this whole thing even worse. For these families trying to get justice, it was an uphill battle right from the start.
The podcast really drove that point home. You know, one thing that really got to me in that podcast was when they talked about missing white woman syndrome.
Yeah.
It's that whole thing where you see cases, usually with white women, getting way more attention than others, like in the media, or even just how much the police put into finding them.
It's a real bias.
And you can see how that played into everything on Highway 16, right?
Absolutely. And the podcast talked to families who felt blown off by the police, told that their daughters had probably just run away or something.
Are you serious? They actually said that. Like, their daughters were just being teenagers. That's just...
It's awful. And it shows how messed up the system is, how it's been stacked against Indigenous communities for, like, ever.
It's all connected, isn't it?
Totally. We're talking about the effects of colonialism, residential schools, all that pushing them to assimilate. It all builds up.
So this isn't just about what happened to these women as individuals. It's about a system that doesn't value their lives.
Exactly. And because of that lack of attention, that refusal to see the real issues, what was happening on Highway 16, it was allowed to go on for way too long.
It's like they say, justice delayed is justice denied. But even with all that, it seems like things are changing, at least a bit. They talked about some of what's being done to make it safer out there.
Yeah, there are definitely people trying to make a difference. There are more police on Highway 16 now.
Okay.
And some places even have cameras now.
That's something, at least. Is there anything else?
The biggest change, I think, is that they've got a bus service now, so people don't have to hitchhike.
That's huge. A safe, reliable way to get around. They should have done that ages ago.
Right.
But we can't just stop there, right? There's still a lot more to do.
You're right. These are good steps, but they're really just dealing with the surface, the deeper issues, the systemic stuff. That's what needs to change.
Yeah, it's about making a world where Indigenous women and girls feel safe and respected, where their lives are seen as important.
And that's on all of us. We have to learn, speak up, and challenge the systems that allow this to happen.
That's really what it comes down to. This whole deep dive into Highway of Tears has been fascinating, but man, it's heavy stuff.
Yeah.
It's about loss, it's about a system that failed, but it's also about people fighting back and hoping for justice.
And it shows that even when things seem really dark, there's always hope for things to get better, to be more just.
So to everyone listening, think about this. If you could change things, what would you do? What needs to happen to make sure everyone is safe and respected, not just on Highway 16, but everywhere? It's a conversation we all need to be a part of. Until next time, keep asking those tough questions and stay curious.